In this video, we're going to show you to install sway bar bushings on your Ford Explorer located underneath the front side of your vehicle. Using a 19mm socket, loosen and remove the lug nuts. Once you have the lug nuts removed, grab the wheel, remove it, and set it aside. On the bottom side of the vehicle, we have our front cross member here, and there are two large bolts. There's one here, and there's one over to the right side of it. These go to the power steering rack. We're gonna go ahead and loosen these bolts here. We're gonna use our 18mm. Drop these right out. What this is going to allow us to do is go ahead and manipulate that steering rack up top to gain better access to the bolts for those bushings. Now right here is our sway bar itself, and it comes back behind the power steering rack. And inside or underneath this clamp right here is the sway bar bushing we need to replace. Now there's one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. There's a bolt here and a bolt here. These are 13mm. We did soak these down with some rust penetrant and let them soak overnight because they're exposed to, well, all the road salts and debris and stuff like that. You can use a combination of tools, 13mm socket and ratchet, as well as a gear wrench and any other tool you can get in there to loosen those. It is kind of tight in here, so you want to go ahead and work on those. Now that we have this rearward bolt almost all the way out, we're now going to take advantage of us removing those steering rack bolts and move that rack back. That's going to allow us to go ahead and get our ratchet in here, because before you really couldn't. So we're going to go ahead and use our ratchet and our gear wrench to go ahead and break that bolt free and start to remove that one. And just continue doing this here till we get this one about 3/4 of the way up. And we're not going to remove these completely until we get the other two on the other side of the sway bar loosened, and then we'll take them all out. Now at this point here, we have both of these bolts about the same distance out. We're going to go ahead and repeat for the other side. Once we get the other side broken free and up about the same, we're going to come back over here and start to disassemble. I'm going to go ahead and remove our bolts on this side here. Once we remove these two bolts, we're going to go back to the other side and remove those. Go ahead and remove that bolt. I'm going to do the same for the passenger side now. I'm going to use a pry bar and just kind of like pop this up. We want to pop the bracket off here. Pop that off, set it aside. Now the bushing is split. This one is literally a two-piece unit. Just need to get on in there, lift up on that bar and pop off that bottom half. Might need some assistance of that pry bar. Now on the bar itself, there is a raised ridge of metal that actually fits inside the groove of the bushing. We have some old rubber and possible grease from the factory that's just kind of dried up on there. We're just using a razor blade to go in and clean up the old garbage that's on that. You don't want that on there. That is going to interfere with the installation of the new bushing. So go ahead and work your way around, cleaning that up. And once that's cleaned up, we'll go ahead and install the new bushing. And go ahead and use a towel or a rag. I want to clean off where the new bushing is going to go. And while we're here, wipe off the subframe area here. Clean up any of the debris where that bracket is going to fit. So I'm just going to use some spray solvent to clean this up. I'm going to take your new bushing. Going to do the split portion on facing the back. So just kind of open that up. Split the bushing, slide that over. Get it ready to raise that up, spin this around into position. So we have the bushing lined up on that groove. Before we put the clamp on this side here and the bolts, we're going to repeat for the other side. Now at this point, we'll go ahead, after we get the passenger side lined up and everything, we'll go ahead and work this clamp down onto this bushing and press that down into place. Go ahead and use your hammer to go ahead and tap that down. I did spray some solvent on this to go ahead and get that to pop down into place. Now we can position the sway bar into place and we'll get our bolts started. Then we put some anti-seize compound on our threads. Get that started. And once we have that one in, we'll go ahead and put the rear one in. Then we'll go over to the passenger side. We'll get those two started. Now that we have the bolts in on the other side, let's come back here and tighten these down. Now at this point here, with our steering rack still loose, I want to go ahead and torque down these bracket bolts to 41 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and repeat for the other side. Now we can grab our steering rack and slide this back. Go to the other side, do the same. Now we're going to raise the vehicle and put the two bolts into our rack. Now I want to get our bolt in through the bottom side here. You can see it's not going up all the way, so you're going to have to reach up and grab that rack and kind of manipulate that around a little bit. You can sometimes use a pry bar to just kind of like move this around. Just kind of wiggle that a little bit and we'll get that bolt started. Now let's come on over to the other side. Now this side is not lined up yet either, so you can reach up with the other hand, grab that side of the rack and just kind of move it back and forth. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and run these up. And do the same for the other. Torque these down to 122 foot-pounds. Once we're done torquing these down, install your wheels, and at that point there, you're all set. Grab your wheel. Get that lined up and installed. We're going to get all of our lug nuts started by hand. Once we have these on, we'll go ahead and snug them down. Torque your lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.